right, welcome back, guys. Welcome to the Business Brain Dump podcast. I'm Jamie from Autoenhance.ai, and I'm here with
Andrea Coughtry with Coughtry Enterprises out of Lexington, Kentucky. So not technically here, just live on a virtual studio, hanging out with you guys.
So you've just got back from Napa. When was that, a week ago?
Oh my gosh.
No, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, and I'm
Time
getting
flies.
all the shipments in, and it's so exciting because, we had a restriction. You couldn't ship alcohol into the state of Kentucky. They did it as a way to help with bourbon. They didn't want people exporting the bourbon or importing other alcohols to hurt the bourbon industry. So it's only been the past year or so that you could actually ship your alcohol to Kentucky. So,
is that why your wine cellar's so bare?
Yeah, well, because we drink it all. But no, actually it is. So we ship it to my husband's family's house in Georgia. And so he'll bring, he's going today, actually. And he has to take my SUV because he has cases of it there that we ship there. But now, and not everyone will ship to Kentucky yet. They're not all set up. But a lot of my favorite ones were able to ship to Kentucky. And we had the best time on the trip. We just went to so many amazing places. You were supposed to come.
I was invited. Yeah, so I was out in Vegas the week prior for a conference to do a talk. And right now is just critical time for Autoenhance. When we have, January is like the time when customers start integration. So we have this limited window where we need to get a load of work done basically before the integration start in January. So it's all systems go. And usually when I come out to America, I'll spend a few weeks out there. I'll go to different places. Like in August, I was out in California, then Vegas for Inman, and then out in Ohio and Kentucky at the end. So all over the place, really. Spending time with customers, hanging out with Andrew and Brendan. But this time I was just like, I need to get in and I need to get out and then I need to work. And this was like 4 weeks after being in Bali and Singapore as well. So I was watching our last episode that just came out, episode 9, and I open up with how jet lagged I am. And then I'm thinking how jet lagged I was in America again. I'm so bad with jet lag. So yeah, all over the place. But Napa sounded amazing. I feel sad that I missed out on that one. It looked like good fun.
It was hard to get back in the routine, even with just a short time change. I do think that's hard. So you always have to give yourself grace. Hopefully you don't have too much happening when you come back. But because it's always a mad sprint to leave. But we came back, it was Thanksgiving. So it was just a lot all at once. But we're getting all this beautiful wine in, stocking the wine cellar. So I was lucky enough to get the full presentation before you went. We kind of did like a little trial. I got to hear it all. I was extremely impressed. I had a ton of questions. So, what's different, I love going to conferences, but, I get to hear you speak. And I've got to just write my questions down. And 9.5 times out of 10, or maybe 10 times out of 10, you don't see the speaker and you're not going to pull the speaker aside at a bar and, hey, I've got these 16 questions from your presentation. But don't fear AI is such a relevant topic right now.
Yeah.
So relevant.
I felt like a rock star. It was amazing.
You are. You're a total rock star. And I got a cameo. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping I can share the talk soon. I got an email this morning saying that there's been technical difficulties with the recording. So I'm going to be very upset if I don't get my recording and we can't share it, because I've done some talks before. I went on stage, like always kind of business talks I've done. I did a 5-minute talk back in 2019 on stage. I did like a 10-minute talk in 2019, end of 2019. And that was a massive audience for that one. And then last year, I did one in Bangkok for maybe 200 people at a conference. And I felt really nervous and uneasy doing that presentation. And watching it back, I can see how it didn't really flow naturally. The nervous laughter, I was like, it didn't go so well. So this one, I wanted to smash it out the park. I'm like, I'm going to practice this thing until I'm blue in the face, until I know all the words perfectly. I didn't know what the conditions would be like either. they said that we'd be able to see our notes. And so I was like, okay, I can at least have that to hint me, but I didn't want to be reliant on the notes. So I practiced this thing until I could remember it almost to the word. And that just, when I got on stage, I had that nervous energy. I wasn't too sure what it was going to be like. And then suddenly had this clarity where it felt like I was in my hotel room practicing the presentation again. And I felt so relaxed, so easy, so confident, and was able to deliver the message that I wanted. It was brilliant. It was exciting. And
I love that.
Prior to this as well, right? So I'd just flown in a couple of days before. Jet lag was real. I was waking up at 2:00 in the morning, 4:00 in the morning. Of the day of the presentation, I woke up at 2 in the morning. My voice had gone because I got some sort of cold or something from the flight over.
Yeah.
And I was having these throat sweets, hoping to clear my throat and everything, trying to get some sleep. Couldn't get any sleep.
Throat sweet.
Yeah. And then I was practicing the presentation. The what are they called? The lozenges that you just had earlier.
A cough drop.
Off cam. Cough drop. Yeah, sure.
Cough drop.
You must have a different. We call them lozenges in the UK.
Yeah, lozenges. You could call it a throat candy. That's brand new. I'm going to coin that. Yeah. Throat candies. Someone give me a throat candy.
We'll start a company doing that.
Candy. So, I don't know. We might have to get up with that vibrator company. See if they want to make some of that.
It could go the wrong way.
We've got the BBD podcast throat candies.
We claim to take one before every talk.
Oh my God, I'm dead.
So yeah, I was practicing this thing over and over before going on stage, and then after it was done, I felt so relieved. It was amazing. And when you're at a conference, like when you're a speaker and you've delivered a message and everyone was really interested in the topic, people just come up to you. Like, I'm having conversations with people and people are like, I just wanted to ask you about this on your presentation, talk to you about AI. I had people messaging me on the app, people reaching out on Instagram and everything. So
nice.
It was a surreal experience. I really enjoyed it. I really want to do more in 2025. But going back to the topic, which is don't fear artificial intelligence, work with it. The reason I wanted to do this presentation is I was talking with the organizer of the conference. So obviously we do AI photo editing for real estate media companies. This is a real estate media company conference. And
so the types of people that would be there would be people that own photography businesses, virtual staging, maybe just anything real estate, property, photography related.
Exactly. So when Andrea is selling your house, she reaches out to these media suppliers. They take the photos of your house and make sure that her photos on her website look fantastic. And we're the ones helping them to make your photos look fantastic. That's the chain.
Time out, because we have to just sidebar really quick how small the world is and how connections work. So Jamie is texting me at this conference in Vegas, and he's like, have you ever heard of this company? They're in Lexington. And I'm like, oh, that sounds really familiar. And I go to my DMs, and they had been DMing me for a while trying to work with me. And I was like, hey, let's pair up. Just tell them if they'll use Autoenhance for my imagery that they can do my next. And I needed like 3 shoots the week after, which was just all the timing worked out. So I'm like, when you see them again, reach out, see if they'll use Autoenhance. They can have my next 3 photo shoots, which I need done as soon as possible. So that was just really cool. That was just a really fun little circle.
There's another interesting story about them, but I'm going to come back to them a little bit later.
Okay.
Because I think the main thing that we were getting from this conference is there's a lot of people here. They're very excited about technology. Everyone's hearing about ChatGPT. Everyone's hearing about AI, but there's also a lot of fear about what is this AI? If I work with this AI, is it going to take my job? So the organizer was like, we need to put something out there that lets them know how exciting this technology is, where it's scary, like why is it scary, and where is it going as well? Is it going to take our job? How's it going to work? So the main message I was trying to get across in this presentation is there are some scary things about AI. AI is incredibly powerful, And an example I use is talking about some of the AI cold calling that's happening at the moment. So there are people who are, mothers getting phone calls, and it's their kid scared that they've been kidnapped, and someone jumps on the phone saying, yeah, if you don't pay me $1 million, you're never going to see your child again. And in that scenario, imagine if you got a phone call and it was Leighton's voice, panicked, and someone saying, you need to pay me X amount of money. You're going to be distraught thinking, oh my God, that's my son's voice.
Goes away. Like I have Life 360. I see he's at school. My first thought wouldn't be, let me pull up Life 360 and see where my kid is. Like you lose all ability to control any cell in your body. So
exactly.
I mean, that's super scary.
Yeah.
That's really scary.
This is the misconception. So the media are taking these stories. So essentially the AI is impersonating the voice of Leighton. And what I'm trying to show here is AI is incredibly powerful. AI can mimic someone's voice to a very high level, especially through a crackling phone where you can't quite hear them properly. Mm-hmm. But the AI didn't decide that it's going to call Andrea and try and get $1 million out of Andrea. It was a bad actor. They were using this incredibly powerful tool and taking advantage of it and kind of misleading them in that way. So that's what I was trying to explain is AI is not this kind of sentient Terminator 2 being that everyone is seeing in the media. The media is kind of twisting the story there. It is these bad actors that are using AI. And the kind of metaphor I say in the presentation is that AI is a tool like a hammer. It can build a house or break a window. It can be used for good or it can be used for bad. So then we start talking about the good examples. We start talking about how people are using AI today. So specifically for these media suppliers, how you can use Grammarly to work on your grammar. So property descriptions don't have grammar problems.
Oh my gosh, it saved my life.
People would be laughing at me if I didn't use Grammarly. The amount of emails I send where Grammarly has saved me because my dyslexia has just completely misinterpreted what I wanted to say in this email. We're talking about how it's being used in photos, like companies using Autoenhance and
to back up just for a minute and say, when you're looking at using a tool like Grammarly, oh, well, you should just know how to do it or take more time or more care. In my opinion, it is ignorant and self-centered not to use a tool that is literally just running in the back of your, I guess it runs in the back of your browser somehow to help you be more efficient, be clearer and smarter. Like I had an employee coming in showing me a property management agreement and it had some of the red. I'm like, so you put such little thought in this that you didn't look at the little red squiggles? That's lazy, guys. Like AI can help you do more. You're working smarter, not harder.
Exactly. And so we go back into that fear, like why, what are people concerned of about AI, right? Is it going to replace us? And I go into some examples where we use the AI we have access today to completely control the whole journey. And one of those examples is actually calling Andrea up, pretending to be a sales guy for a fake real estate media company, trying to pitch the business. And it starts out really great. It starts selling you on the selling points you're asking, what makes you special? What do you do? And it explains it perfectly. And then you go, can you give me a pricing breakdown for the different products that you have on offer? And the AI just completely freezes and goes down and restarts. And then you go, hello? And it's like, hello, how can I help you? I was like, I was asking for some pricing information. And it's completely forgotten what you spoke about in the last 5 to 10 minutes. And I think this is where people are getting really confused. AI is incredibly powerful. It can do something very well. So like checking grammar, Grammarly can do it incredibly well. But Grammarly can't, Grammarly can't play chess against you or do something that's outside of its domain. It can do what it can do incredibly well. And this is the misconception.
Content out there, right? It doesn't know that this landlord's property had a tenant that was evicted and this is what the attorney said. You are throwing in all the data and it's just helping you clear it up so you can write more effectively, more efficiently, and come across more professional.
Exactly. You know, it's like if you're doing a DIY project and it says I need a hammer, am I going to use a Swiss Army knife that can be a hammer, be a knife, be a corkscrew opener, or am I going to use a hammer? It's like it, and there are lots of tech products out there. AI has just amplified what these tech products can do. So I think when you use these technologies for what they're built to do and that are really good at that domain, that's where you can take advantage of it. And that's what I was trying to get across in this presentation is, look, here's the scary stuff. Here's the exciting stuff. Here's where AI just kind of falls flat on its feet because it's trying to do what it can't really do. But here's where we can take advantage of it. And it's that kind of cooperation between the humans and the AI that allows us to progress. And a big message that I was trying to get out at the end of the presentation is, you know, the most exciting future innovations won't be about how AI did our job for us. It's how we learn to work with the AI to dream bigger, work smarter, and do things that we never thought was possible. And that just empowered the audience to be open to exploring this technology, to try services like Autoenhance, because they know that AI today is not perfect, but them working with it and cooperating with it, they are going to be the ones advancing their business. The ones that are anti-AI, anti-technology, not wanting to work with the AI because, oh, it's going to take my job. Those are the ones that are going to be missing out, which I think is absolutely true.
It's a missed opportunity, honestly. If you're not paying for ChatGPT 4.0, you're doing yourself and your business a disservice. I mean, it is so brilliant, so complex. Brendan's working on a Bitcoin mining solar farm in Colorado. And he is asking some of these crazy complex mathematical algorithms. And it's just like what you said, it's what you feed the AI that's going to give you good results. You can be like, hey, build me a solar farm. You're going to get a bunch of trash. Like he's asking niched, dialed in, specific, detailed
providing
questions.
The context.
Exactly. Yeah. For example, with you are providing, so you're feeding your service an image and it's doing what it used to take and a photo editor. What's the time comparisons?
So an average editor per image is taking maybe 30 minutes to edit an image.
Wow.
Whereas the AI can do it in minutes, a minute, 2 minutes. But the AI can process, you know, thousands of photos a minute. The editor does one every 30 minutes. So, you know, and what the editor is doing is so repetitive. And a lot of their time is just sat there waiting for the spinning wheel to complete. So, you know, what we are doing is just cutting out as much of that as possible. And, you know, some of our customers are doing AI plus human. They're using Autoenhance to do 90% of the work. And then the editors are jumping on and doing those last final adjustments, putting the fire in the fireplace, blanking out the TV screen, things that the AI can't quite do yet, but it's not going to be, you know, out of the realms in the next year or 2 years, especially with how fast everything is moving. But I just love all these AI agents and everything that's possible. Like even my presentation, I was sat in Bali by the side of the pool working on the presentation, and I had Claude up, which is Anthropic's AI agent. I had ChatGPT up, and I pay for both of them.
What's Claude?
So Claude is from Anthropic, which is actually a British company.
CLAUDE?
Yeah, CLAUDE.
Wow.
So they are an alternative to ChatGPT. And I find for writing, they are superior because ChatGPT is very good at kind of working on things in the conversation, whereas Claude, you can kind of reference files and it doesn't lose the context of the file as you're progressing. So it's like we're both looking at this document. It's like me and Claude are looking at a Google Doc and they're like chipping in and I'm chipping in, but the doc isn't changing. Whereas ChatGPT, it's always like a moving conversation. So you lose the context before. So I think that's...
On ChatGPT, a lot of times what I'll do is say, based on our previous conversation, or can you remember this for the rest of this conversation? And then if you have the paid ChatGPT, you can create your own GPTs. So I have a Coughtry Enterprise virtual assistant that I've trained to know all about me, my business. So every question I'll say, based on what you know about me and my business, XYZ.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm interested in this Claude as well. So give us an example. So you were uploading documents to this AI.
It's just collaboration. It's like how I would work with a human. We're just moving at rapid pace. So when I was working on the presentation, I was like, right, so I spoke to the organizer. This is what he said. So that's where we got the context of like, don't fear AI, work with it. So I was like, can you find me any presentations out there that talk about this idea of how do we talk about something that's really scary and break it down into something where, we're showing both the
So you're just
negatives,
feeding
the
this
positives.
into Claude right now.
I think this one I was doing with ChatGPT. Okay. And then it showed me a bunch of talks. And so I went and watched some talks, and there's a really interesting talk by Gary Kasparov, who was a world chess champion who got defeated by IBM Deep Blue in 1997. And he's got a talk on TED Talk called Don't Fear Intelligent Machines, Work With Them. So that's where the idea of don't fear AI, work with it came from. And so there was lots of really interesting points that came from that video. So I then went and got the transcript of his talk and I fed that into Claude. And then another talker that I really enjoy listening to is a guy called Scott Galloway, who is a really inspiring investor, entrepreneur. I love listening to his podcast that he's got. And so I went out and got a whole bunch of his talks and downloaded all the transcripts of that. And then I uploaded all of this into Claude and I said, here's Gary Kasparov's, here's Scott Galloway's, here's what the organizer has told me we need to do. Like, let's brainstorm some ideas of what this presentation is going to be. And then we worked on just a very high level outline of the presentation. And then once we had the outline, then we started adding in context and doing the actual segments of the presentation. And it took a long time still. Like, it took me hours to do it. But if I didn't have those tools, the structure, the context, the narrative wouldn't be there. Like, you listen to the talk, there's a whole narrative that goes throughout the whole thing. And it was from working with ChatGPT and Claude that we were able to keep that going through the whole presentation.
But also, like we talked about earlier, right? We preface this by saying it's all in the data. Like, look how much work you did. You had ideas. You had a mindset around, like, this is what I want to convey. You did the work to feed it into 2 different AIs. You're still putting the final touch on it.
100%. If I had just said, write me the presentation, and, that's where I started off. I said, write me the presentation. It did a very crass job. Like, it was interesting, but it was so typical, like ChatGPT Claude style, that I was like, we can't do this. So it was a process of working with it. And another thing that I've worked out, the limitation. So to get into the technical details about how these AIs work, it's essentially a chain of words. So all the AI is trying to do is predict the next word in a sequence. So it's been fed all of this information and it's trying to predict the next word in the sequence. So it is not bulletproof. They are incredibly powerful, but they are not bulletproof. And you'll notice this if you start working with larger context. So that presentation I did was about 17 pages long. And if I just work with that 17-page document and feed that to the AI, it starts forgetting things. And I saw this recently. So my sister's actually getting married next year.
Wow, and congratulations.
I'm taking the father of the bride position for the wedding and doing a speech afterwards. So I've already started working on it, and I fed it all these like funny stories about my sister and I, and funny stories about her and her fiance. And I start asking Claude to generate the speech and helping me with the speech. And every time I read it back, I'm like, where was that story gone? Like, it started removing stories because it can't remember all of it. And there are limitations to this technology. And if you want to test it out, go on to ChatGPT and ask it how many R's are in the word strawberry. This is why I like being in AI, because I know how to break it as well. Everyone's like, this is magical. I'm like, right, let's find a way to break it based on everything that I know about AI. So the strawberry example, ChatGPT for a very long time was saying there was only 2 R's in strawberry when there's 3.
Not now.
David Meyer would break ChatGPT. You'd
Why?
put David Meyer in and it would just break.
That's
It's just the
weird.
limitation of how these systems work, you know. It's the way that the system is working is by predicting the next word in a sequence. So it doesn't know how to spell, it only knows words. Right?
So
Whereas we understand letters.
with the newest update, like how I just did this, the first chunk it will show you came from Wikipedia. Second chunk, Wikipedia and the Rothschild Archive. Third chunk, Wikipedia and the Scottish Sun. Third chunk was something called Mashable, which I think is just like an English kind of Vogue or something. So that's really cool because now you can click in those and go to those individual articles. So if you were trying to research something and do it quick, it's just so helpful, and it's not replacing me. It's not, I'm busy, I'm stressed, I'm tired. Like if I can save time by plugging that in, why would I not?
Yeah. Yeah, we need to wrap this up now because we're at the end.
God.
But
Oh my
today,
God. So quick.
OpenAI released a new model, which is the O1 complete model, which is $200 a month for the subscription.
Wow. I
And
see
this
it. There's
model
O1 Mini and O1.
So it's a new subscription, ChatGPT Pro, for $200 a month. And this AI is meant to be like PhD research level. So Brendan better get on that and give it a try
Oh, he'll love it.
for his research. But already on Twitter, people are uploading pictures of someone with 6 fingers on their hand and asking a PhD level AI, what's strange about this photo? And the AI comes back and says, nothing seems weird about this photo to me. It looks like a really good picture of a hand. It's well lit. It's close up. It's a great photo of a hand. But to you and me, it's a hand with 6 fingers. So there is
AI
this.
has 6 fingers.
Oh gosh. I mean, a lot of them do. But yeah, it's nothing to be scared of. It is a tool. Yes. And even though people feel like it's got some kind of, I don't know, identity to it, it is still very much just doing something that you can do much faster, much quicker, but it hasn't really got the context or the understanding that a human does. So it's just
AI,
fascinating.
Work with it. Dive in, guys. Give it a try. Boost yourself with Grammarly, with Claude, with ChatGPT. Just find little ways to help you work smarter, not harder. This is a support staff.
Exactly. And we're going to jump into some more topics in the next few weeks, months, hopefully once we get all this out, of some specific ways that you can take advantage of these tools, how we've taken advantage of these tools to benefit your business. So I think it's going to be really exciting. I can't wait to jump into it.
We'll talk about different ways to train your AI, how to create your own GPTs, ways. We have another podcast about DISC assessment. Go listen to that because we're going to stack
how we can incorporate that in ChatGPT as well.
Exactly, to set KPIs. So, okay, so excited. Yay. All right. Have a great day, everyone. Hopefully this was helpful. Don't fear AI.
Have a great one, guys. Enjoy and look forward for the next episode. See you later.